Major update for Tom Aspinall. He just got his eye surgery, or the injections for both eyes, and this is the photo he posted. It's not looking great. That just doesn't look healthy. But it is the process of getting healthier. Aspinall seems a little bit more optimistic, and everything just around the situation seems more optimistic about him returning. More than likely, probably by the end of the year, but there's no way it's going to be anytime soon. Waldo Cortez Acosta's on a run. Who's he going to fight next? Heavyweight needs to move. Heavyweight needs to get going. An interim title is probably going to come soon. Alex Pereira, Ciryl Gane. It is good to see that Aspinall is getting his procedures done, and it seems like, it's going to be a process of just healing and recovering at this point.
Tom Aspinall is recovering from double eye surgery, with brutal post-op images leaving fans stunned. Just months after talk of Jon Jones being asked to vacate, the UFC now seems ready to move on from Aspinall too, as rumors swirl about Alex Pereira stepping in to face Ciryl Gane for the belt.
Right now, you can see, like...
Okay.
Jason Herzog's going to call this fight.
And that's going to do it.
About as anticlimactic as it gets.
No contest. Unintentional foul. No contest. Unintentional foul. Yeah.
Jason Herzog calls it a no contest, which means Tom Aspinall will retain his title.
Hey.
My God.
It's an accident. Hey, come here.
Ciryl was disappointed, and he was fighting a wonderful first round.
The big question, will Aspinall vacate the belt voluntarily like he once demanded of Jon Jones? Or will the UFC have to step in? Today we're breaking down everything. The gruesome surgery details, the rare medical condition that could have ended his career, the division's future, and the explosive possibility of Alex Pereira moving up to heavyweight. Stay with us.
Tom Aspinall has just had his second successful eye surgery. This is great news, right? However, there's a certain group of keyboard warriors whose GOAT is a steroid cheat who beats women, claiming that Tom Aspinall is faking the eye injury.
Let's rewind to October 25th, 2025, UFC 321 in Abu Dhabi. Tom Aspinall, the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion, was finally getting his moment. After waiting 14 months for a fight with Jon Jones that never happened, after Jones relinquished the belt, Aspinall was elevated to undisputed champion.
Jon Jones is probably watching this, so send him a message.
Hello, John. I have nothing against you personally, but I just think I'm better than you. I just know that I can beat you in a fight, so I'm coming for it.
His first defense, against the dangerous French striker Ciryl Gane, but the fight lasted just 15 seconds. In an exchange, Gane extended his hand with outstretched fingers, and both fingers simultaneously jabbed into both of Aspinall's eyes. It was one of the worst eye pokes we've seen in 20 years of MMA coverage. Referee Jason Herzog paused the action, but Aspinall couldn't see. His vision was completely compromised. The fight was stopped at 4 minutes and 35 seconds of round 1 and ruled a no contest. Despite Aspinall's immediate protests, the poke was deemed accidental. But accidental or not, the damage was catastrophic.
This is not boxing.
UFC. Hey man.
What is UFC? It's martial arts, right?
Yeah, in a cage.
Include like this?
No, that's illegal.
That's illegal, right?
Yes.
You're not supposed to do that.
What an Abu Dhabi doctor initially brushed off as trivial turned out to be something far more serious and potentially career-ending. Within weeks, Tom Aspinall received devastating news. He was diagnosed with traumatic bilateral Brown syndrome, an extremely rare condition. Let me break down what this means. Brown syndrome affects the muscles and tendons in the eyes. In Aspinall's case, both eyes were affected. That's what bilateral means. The condition caused severely restricted eye movement, particularly when looking upward and inward. But that's not all. Aspinall also experienced intermittent bouts of double vision. Imagine being a professional fighter and not being able to see properly, not being able to judge distance, not being able to track your opponent's movements. For weeks after the incident, Aspinall continued suffering from impaired vision. The 32-year-old from Atherton knew he needed help, serious medical intervention. In late December, Aspinall confirmed he'd already had surgery on one eye, with plans for additional procedures. He told One-on-One MMA, "I'm ready to get back, but my health has got to be right first. I ain't gonna do anything compromised. I'm not gonna let my ego take over. Everything's gotta be right." This was just the beginning of his medical journey. Fast forward to February 10th, 2026, this Tuesday. Tom Aspinall underwent simultaneous surgery on both eyes at Optegra Eye Hospital in London, England. The clinic's expert team shared photos of the procedure, showing Aspinall going under the knife. Their official statement read, "After his highly publicized eye poke injury, Optegra's expert team is proud to have supported MMA fighter and UFC heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall. Over recent months, we've been working closely with him on his recovery. Following his operation on both eyes, we continue the journey to get Tom's vision back to fighting fitness." But here's where it gets truly shocking. Just 24 hours after surgery, Aspinall posted a photo on his Instagram story. He pulled up his sunglasses to reveal two completely bloodshot eyes. They were red, inflamed, and looked absolutely brutal. His caption, simply, "One day post-surgery." He added crying laughing emojis and spooky music with gifs from Michael Jackson's Thriller video, comparing himself to an undead zombie. Despite the humor, the image was genuinely disturbing. Fan reactions ranged from concern to support, with one saying hope he's recovering well, while others defended him against critics who still claim he faked the injury to avoid fighting Gane. Yes, you heard that right. Some people, including fellow heavyweight Waldo Cortez Acosta, who mockingly wore an eye patch, are still suggesting Aspinall faked one of the most brutal eye pokes in UFC history. Now here's where we need to have a serious conversation about the heavyweight division. Tom Aspinall has had only one fight since August 2024. That fight lasted 15 seconds and ended in a no contest. The heavyweight championship is now in limbo, again. And here's the painful irony. Aspinall knows better than anyone what it's like when the division gets held up. He was one of the most vocal critics of Jon Jones, calling for Jones to vacate the belt when Jones was stalling the division for over a year. Aspinall waited 14 months for that Jones fight. He experienced firsthand the frustration of having the division frozen. Now he's in the same position, through no fault of his own. UFC CEO Dana White has confirmed that Aspinall vs. Gane will be rebooked once the British champion has recovered. Ciryl Gane has remained sidelined waiting for medical clearance, but the question everyone's asking is, how long? Aspinall faces an indefinite layoff. His return is completely contingent on medical clearance. Some fighters have rushed back from eye surgery only to end up with permanent vision damage, even blindness. The heavyweight division cannot afford another year-long freeze, which brings us to the nuclear option. There's growing speculation, and it makes perfect sense, that Tom Aspinall will do the honorable thing and vacate the heavyweight title. He called for Jones to do it. Now he faces the same decision, and here's where things get really interesting. Alex Pereira, Poatan, the two-division champion, the knockout artist, the man who's cleared out the light heavyweight division, is strongly considering a move to heavyweight. It's also becoming increasingly likely that this is the direction the UFC is leaning toward. Aspinall has shown nothing but class throughout this ordeal. He's been transparent about his condition, he's undergone multiple surgeries, and he's refused to let his ego compromise his health. I don't doubt that Aspinall will do the right thing, and when he comes back, he'll come back stronger. Let's be clear about one thing. Tom Aspinall is furious about what happened. Immediately after the fight, he raged at Gane for not heeding referee Jason Herzog's repeated warnings about outstretched fingers during the fight. When asked about his return plans, Aspinall was crystal clear. The plan is to go back and beat the living daylights out of Ciryl Gane. But right now, the short-term plan is to get back to where I should be. Get back in the gym.
I thought everything was fine and dandy. I had no clue that I was now having something else in me that was illegal.
Jon Jones called us last night and retired. Jon Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
Jon Jones didn't just rise in the UFC, he conquered it. With breathtaking skill and ruthless dominance, he ruled the octagon like a legend in the making. But while the world watched his victories, an unseen battle was forming in the shadows. Blinded by success, he never realized that his own choices were quietly carving the path to his downfall, one that would erase his legacy and fracture the life he had built.
Jon Jones has a very fucking dark side to him. But Jon Jones beats the fuck out of people. When you really think about fighting, put two guys in a room and who fucking comes out? Jon Jones walks out of that fucking room every time. When you watch the video of him and Cormier, and they don't know that they're live being filmed.
Oh my God.
And Cormier says, I had to come over there and spit in your fucking face right now.
Yeah.
And Jon Jones says,
You know I would absolutely kill you if you ever did something like that.
You could never kill me.
Oh, I bet you I could.
This is the story of a champion who had everything: talent, fame, and opportunity, but whose personal demons would prove to be his most formidable opponent. Let me break it down. The rise and fall of Jon Jones. July 19, 1987, Rochester, New York. A future champion was born into a family that seemed destined to produce greatness. Jonathan Dwight Jones wasn't just any kid. His father was a pastor with unwavering discipline. His mother, a pillar of strength, and his two brothers, they would go on to dominate in the NFL, Arthur winning a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens, Chandler carving his own successful career.
In order to paint a bright future for yourself, you have to be able to see it in your mind, you have to believe in it, and the more you believe in it, the more your world will start to change, and the more you'll just start to, see your beliefs come to pass. So, to answer your question, just self-belief.
But tragedy struck early. Jones's sister Carmen died from brain cancer at just 18 years old. This devastating loss would haunt him for years, a trauma he would later link directly to his battles with substance abuse. Despite the pain, Jones possessed something extraordinary, raw, undeniable talent. His reach, his timing, his ability to dismantle opponents with surgical precision. These weren't just skills. They were gifts that separated him from every other fighter in the octagon. March 19, 2011. At just 23 years old, Jon Jones captured the UFC light heavyweight championship, becoming the youngest champion in the promotion's history. It wasn't even close. He systematically destroyed Mauricio Shogun Rua, announcing to the world that a new king had arrived. What followed was unprecedented dominance. Daniel Cormier, twice, Alexander Gustafsson, Quinton Rampage Jackson, Lyoto Machida, names that struck fear into other fighters, became footnotes in the Jon Jones story. He wasn't just winning. He was making legends look ordinary. But even as Jones was establishing himself as perhaps the greatest fighter of all time, the seeds of destruction were already being planted.
Look forward to seeing you again. You are still the champion.
God bless you all. Thank you so much for coming out. Team Jones, we're still here, baby. It's a beautiful night for me, beautiful night.
The champion, Jon Jones, ladies and gentlemen.
December 4th, 2014, Jones tests positive for cocaine metabolites before his fight with Daniel Cormier. Technically, cocaine wasn't banned out of competition at the time. Jones won the fight, but the facade was cracking.
Cormier once again sends Jones retreating.
He's just having a hard time reaching Jon. Oh, Jon landed a high kick. He's hurt.
DC was stunned by that head kick. Jones trying to press the issue here. Cormier is down. Not out yet.
Cormier's in big trouble. And Jon is all over him.
Here comes Johnny Bones with the ground and pound. Cormier.
That could be it.
6 weeks later, Jones checks into a drug treatment facility. The UFC stands by him. His mother calls it a wake-up call, but reports soon emerged. He stayed only one night. Critics call it a publicity stunt, not genuine treatment. Jones admits to recreational cocaine use but denies addiction. He commits to counseling, drug testing, and weekly sessions. He reflects philosophically about learning from mistakes. Then came April 27, 2015, the incident that would change everything. Jones flees the scene after crashing into a pregnant woman's car in Albuquerque. He leaves behind cash and a marijuana pipe. This wasn't just a failed drug test. This was a hit and run involving a pregnant woman, an act that revealed a man more concerned with self-preservation than the welfare of others. The consequences were swift and devastating. Probation, his first UFC title stripping. Nike drops him immediately. Other sponsors follow. The youngest champion in UFC history was suddenly stripped of his crown, his reputation in tatters.
When you found out I was a pregnant woman, what was going through your mind?
I thought, man, I'm done. First, I was afraid that there would be some type of problems with her baby because, you know, obviously if she had a difficult pregnancy, then that's a whole different level of being in trouble. God forbid if she was having miscarriage. You know, I would imagine that would be 1,000% put on me.
What were you thinking about yourself? Like when you did that, when you ran, I mean, there's no way you could be happy with yourself that you did that.
I felt terrible.
What were you thinking?
I just felt like a monster. I feel like a monster. You know what I mean? I have tremendous respect for a woman.
The financial cost was staggering, but the cost to his legacy, incalculable. 2016 brings hope. Jones posts about sobriety milestones on social media, 9 months clean, a year sober. He admits openly, I was a drug addict. He describes habitual marijuana use between fights, before eating, training, sleeping. He calls himself a hippie during those periods, using substances to cope with life's stresses. But then, just days before UFC 200, the comeback crumbles. Jones tests positive for clomiphene and letrozole, estrogen blockers often used after steroid cycles. The fight is canceled, 1-year suspension. The comeback dies before it begins. July 29, 2017, Jones returns and knocks out Daniel Cormier at UFC 214. It's brutal, decisive, triumphant, Jones has reclaimed his title and vanquished his greatest rival. But weeks later, another positive test, this time for turinabol, a performance-enhancing drug. The victory is overturned, the title stripped again. The timing was cruel. Just weeks after Jones's mother, Camille, passed away from diabetes at age 55. Here was a man dealing with profound grief, only to compound his pain through choices that would cost him everything he'd just reclaimed. 4 failed drug tests total. Cocaine in 2014, clomiphene and letrozole in 2016, turinabol in 2017. The arrests pile up. DUI in 2012 after crashing his Bentley. Battery charge in 2019 at a strip club. Aggravated DWI in 2020 with firearm possession and an open container.
Zuffa Boxing, I'm so curious where this is gonna go. I've been seeing all the promotions, and I'm like, God, it's gonna take them fucking signing a superstar, like someone that's just captivating, someone you're like, I gotta watch him fight. People that were promoting for the main event next fight, and it's like, I don't know if that's it, but you can't question Dana. It has potential.
I could see you going that route at some point.
Me? I would love to transition and do a little bit of boxing. I wouldn't even care if it's like a huge deal, like Sugar versus Gervonta. That would be sick. I would love to do that. I'm 1-0 boxing. Find me a fucking 5-0 boxer. Find me a 1-0. Like, build me up slowly. Don't fucking, you know, like, I want to be paid, you know, reasonably, but you don't gotta pay me. You know, I'm not gonna be, I want 5 million, I want 10 million. Pay me a couple $100. 100 racks, and we can fight some guys, 3-0, 4-0 on Zuffa Boxing. I would love to do that. Fucking, that'd be interesting. And I really feel like my style could transition. God, that'd be fun.
The former UFC bantamweight champion is sending a direct message to Dana White and the UFC brass, and it's not what you'd expect. Sugar Sean O'Malley is ready to hang up the 4-ounce gloves and step into the boxing ring, and he's not playing around. In his own words, I wouldn't even care if it's a huge deal. Find me a 5-0 boxer. Build me up slowly. I would love that.
And not even like, I wouldn't even care if it's like a huge deal, like Sugar versus Gervonta. That would be sick. I would love to do that. I wouldn't even mind doing like, okay, I'm 1-0 boxing. Find me a fucking 5-0 boxer.
And Dana White, he's already responded on Twitter with a message that has the MMA community buzzing. O'Malley's plans, the rise of Zuffa Boxing, potential opponents, and what this means for the future of crossover fights. Let's get into it. All right, let's break down exactly what Sean O'Malley said and why this is such a big deal. During a recent episode on his YouTube channel, Sugar Sean didn't hold back when talking about his boxing ambitions. He's been watching Dana White's new promotion, Zuffa Boxing, and he sees an opportunity. Here's the key quote that's got everyone talking. I would love to transition into a little bit of boxing. I wouldn't even care if it's like a huge deal, like Sugar versus Gervonta Davis. That would be sick. I'd love to do that. I'm 1-0 boxing. Find me a fucking 5-0 boxer. Build me up slowly. I want to get paid reasonably. You've got to pay me. I'm not going to be, I want $5 million. I want $10 million.
I would love to go, yeah, I would love to transition and do a little bit of boxing. And not even like, I wouldn't even care if it's like a huge deal, like Sugar versus Gervonta. That would be sick. I would love to do that. I wouldn't even mind doing like, okay, I'm 1-0 boxing. Find me a fucking 5-0 boxer. Find me a 1-0, like, build me up slowly. Don't fucking, you know, like, I want to be paid, you know, reasonably, but you don't got to pay me. You know, I'm not going to be, I want 5 million, I want 10 million. You know, pay me.
Now, let's unpack this. First off, O'Malley is being smart here. He's not demanding some mega fight right out of the gate. He's talking about building up slowly, facing 5-0 level opponents, and developing his boxing skills properly. But here's where it gets interesting. He did mention Gervonta Tank Davis. For those who don't know, Tank is a legitimate boxing superstar, a knockout artist with serious power. That would be an insane fight if it ever happened. O'Malley also mentioned he's 1-0 in boxing, showing he's already dipped his toes in the sweet science and wants more. Now, this is where things get really interesting. Dana White didn't stay silent on this one. Shortly after O'Malley's comments went viral, Dana took to Twitter, or X, whatever we're calling it these days, and posted a response that got everyone speculating. Dana tweeted, Suga's got that striking game that translates. Zuffa Boxing is the perfect platform for UFC fighters who want to test themselves in the ring. Let's talk. Those two words at the end, That's Dana basically saying, I'm listening, and this could actually happen.
I'm looking for flashy. I'm looking for somebody who has that thing.
What is that thing?
Sean O'Malley is that thing.
This is huge because it